Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Perfect. Just give me a minute. I'm sharing the screen. Uh, just let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. Morning, everyone. My name is Ram. First of all, thanks for joining the session. So I'll be the a trainer for you for today for giving the introduction of Salesforce. Yeah. Before we start, I am working in Salesforce from past 14 and a half years. So I started my career in Salesforce itself, which means my overall experience is also the same as Salesforce experience. And trainings, yeah, it's been almost 8 years, not 8 years. I think there's ninth year that I've started training for quite some time back, and I've trained more than 3,000 odd number of people in Salesforce in different modules, by the way. So it includes Salesforce admin, development, CPQ, analytics, integrations, or advanced development. Currently, I'm working as an architect, designing multiple systems, dealing with around 40 member team. Yeah, there's a lot. And yeah, introduction. So I think industrial revolution is a little older, so, but we'll discuss about it. Um, so Salesforce is basically a CRM that to a cloud platform. So we'll discuss about what is cloud, why Salesforce, right? What is CRM and why Salesforce and CRM, why not others? And then we'll compare with others and we'll discuss about obviously about the opportunities. Was that we'll discuss about the course content. Yeah. And yeah, you don't have to wait till the end of the session. You can stop me at any point. Let the session be a little more interactive if possible. Uh, so please do raise, or you can ask me the questions directly. You don't even have to raise your hands. You can stop me at any point. Yeah. Any idea about this? Anyone? Okay. I know all of you know about this. So basically, this speaks about the industrial revolutions that are happening in the market. So it started with steam in 1700s, then into electricity, then into computing, and now into artificial intelligence, which is fourth industrial revolution, right? So, so what's the difference between third and fourth? So in computing industrial revolution, where we used to speak with the system with the language the system can understand, right? Whether it is IBM machines or your mobiles or whatever, there you have to write a code in such a way that system can understand. But if you observe these days, right, you can speak with the gadgets like the way you're speaking with your friend or your mom or your brother or sister, right? So, and of course, like it will react immediately as well. The best example is your Alexa, your Siri, and your Google, all of them, right? And why we are speaking about this? Because one reason is yes, most of the technologies that are happening today are mostly into AI, and of course, Salesforce is also there in AI from quite some time now. Before we start speaking about the screen, so can someone tell me why do we need an application? Any app for that matter. It could be your ticket booking applications like your Make My Trip or your IRCTC portal, anything for that matter. So, or your banking systems. Why do we need these applications?
To interact with users,
Okay, good. Anything else? So basically, this makes our life more easier, right? Compared to, like, for example, I was speaking about IRCTC. So I'm not sure how old are you, most of the people, and how old, I mean, how many of you are there in India. But if you go around 10-15 years back, and if you want to book a ticket in the train, right? So you have to stand in the queue. There are high chance that you won't get the tickets, even if you stay in the queue, right? You for any reservations. And if you go a decade or 2 decades back, it's more obvious to your flights as well, right? Of course, even in buses, if you are from India, it was very tough. You have to go to some agencies, you have to speak with them. They'll take extra commission on your booking. All this happens, right? But now it's pretty much easier. You must have a phone with a good internet connection. That's it, right? Because everyone is using a smartphone these days. So you book any travel app and you buy a product that you want, or I mean, you book a ticket that you want, or you buy a product that you want when you uh, log into your Amazon or Flipkart. It's that easier, right? This actually reduces the effort that you are making in getting the service done from the same service provider, right? But if you look at the other end, which is a person or an organization who built this, for them, it's a bread and butter, right? Because the more number of you people using my application, the more amount of revenue will be generated to my organization, correct? So, but how will I define an application? How do I know that, okay, this is something that we have to define? That is basically an idea, right? So I saw some person called Srini who joined quite some time back. So let's say there is nothing in the market available now. So I've seen people standing in queues by waiting for a particular product to be bought. And I thought, okay, why can't I build something where it will show them the inventory that is there in a particular store and let them order the product from this application, so that they don't have to go and stand in the queue. And at the same time, as I'm providing this service to them, I'll be getting a revenue. And this is my idea, right? But is this idea sufficient? To an extent, yes. But to build the application, that is not. So have to have a capital as well, right? Why do we need capital, Ram? Because you need certain systems, right? You have to have a server, you have to set up the entire hardware. You might need some applications or some softwares to be installed so that you can start writing the code, and you have to define the access, reporting, test. You have to have a tester who will test this properly, everything, correct? Once everything is set up, then I can start building the application, which means idea itself is not sufficient, but you need an entire infrastructure, which basically needs a huge capital, because this is if I'm using a legacy platform, which means Java. Let's say I'm not using cloud, basically. Yeah. So now to set this up, infrastructure itself will take us around a year, right? That is why if you speak with your uncles or aunts or your senior brothers, elder brothers, right, who have vast experience in IT, who started their career in somewhere around 2000s, like 2005 or somewhere. So they used to say that, yes, I'm gonna build this, but when? Next year. But why you're speaking now? Because I'm setting the infrastructure. This itself will take it. Now, this is a huge burden for any IT organization. This was a huge burden, by the way. Right? Later on, it was replaced with cloud. Okay, what do you mean by that? In cloud, what will happen is you'll have three types of services: infrastructure, platform, and software. So this is the on-premise service which the owner of the resource, like the person who is owning that idea, have to set up the entire infrastructure. But when it comes to cloud computing, it is like you will have a service provider sitting somewhere in US or North America or wherever. Based on your requirement, they'll give you some space in their server and they'll say that okay, you can start building an application now right from scratch. Right. But in this, again, we have three types of services. What is this? So here, if you go with AWS, right, Amazon Web Services, so they'll say, boss, I will give you the virtualization concepts, servers, spaces, networking, everything. But you have to hit, but it's a black box. You have to build your own UI, operating system. You must have your own middleware to integrate with external systems, right? You must build your own applications. Right? This is what AWS says, which means we are coming halfway through. You have to come halfway from the other side as well. But when it goes to platform as a service, this is the first footprint of Salesforce, which we call it as Force.com platform. What they will say is, hey, I'll give you everything, but whichever the idea that you have, right, you have to build it on your own. You have to manage the data, which means security. Rest all will be provided by the Salesforce itself, Force.com. But if you go one step further, software as a service, here what will happen is this is the actual footprint of Salesforce where actually most of the users are being used here. What it says is, hey, as you're buying a license from us, as you're buying this space, what I'll do is I'll give you some market standard applications. Use them as you want. What is a market standard application? Let's take a simple sales process, right? What do you mean by a sales process? So you will have some inquiry. Let's say I have to sell my product. So what I'll do is I will do some marketing where I'll do some campaigning or advertisements. Looking at that, maybe people like Vijay or Shrinu, or they might be interested in that product, and they'll come to me and say that okay, Ram, I'm interested in your gadget, that I want to buy this. But will they buy that product? No, it's just an inquiry, right? Now I'll start negotiating with them what the price is, or maybe the services that I'm going to provide, all this, right? So that will take some time. It's a process again. Once everything is set, let's say Srinu may not be interested, but Vijaya said like, okay, I'm gonna buy this at any cost. So she'll be my customer. So this is a typical sales process that is available in almost all the organizations, right? So that is the standard sales process, which is given by Salesforce already to you. So this process is set. Now you have to define your own data and all. But now there is one person called Rajesh. He says, yeah, your application is very good. The process is well defined, but I own Rolls Royce and I don't do this advertisements, or I don't do this. I don't speak with I don't have to beg my inquiries, or I don't have to sit with my inquiries to get converted to my customers. But he still needs this opportunity management, the product catalog, everything. Then in that case, how does Salesforce supports? That is where Salesforce says, boss, this is the market standard. Now it is up to you whether you want to use it or not. But now Rajesh says, I want to use this, but I don't want the entire process. That's fine. You can customize it. That is the feasibility that will be given in Salesforce, which means if you want, you can use the standard process as is, or you can tweak it according to your requirements as well, right? We can add some tables or remove the existing tables, and according to your process, you can define your own setup over there. So, Ram, does this mean Salesforce is the only solution that is available for in the market for all the problems? Definitely no. So, then in that case, when can we suggest a customer about Salesforce? If there is a data and there is a process followed by organization to mature that data, that is where you can use Salesforce. Yeah. Now, these are a couple of examples for everything. Just going to the other one. Okay. There's one of the best slides of Salesforce. So it says customer 360. So can anyone speak about, heard about bird eye view, where when I say bird eye view, so I can see the entire details of the customer, right? A glimpse, right? So there's a glimpse of Salesforce. So what all services it provides? It helps you to define your own sales process, your own service process, marketing. So uh, how do I say? So most of the call centers are being used for service, right? And for when it comes to marketing, um, okay, one good example. So earlier, if you remember, so whenever you inquire about a particular product, when you go to any shopping mall or so they'll be asking you to fill some basic forms for this lucky draw coupons or something. But end of the day, that will be given to some real estate brokers or someone, and you will keep getting mails about their particular products. It could be a venture or it could be a new product that they're launching and anything, right? So, of course, you will kept on ignoring them, but you still keep on getting those mails. You know that there is no use of that because you are not interested in buying that product. It doesn't mean whether it is costly or not, but I'm not interested. Simple. But the person who is doing this marketing, this campaigning, who is sending this mail, they don't know. The beauty of this marketing tool in Salesforce is, let's say I have 1,000 mails. So I've started maybe a venture, as we started speaking about the real estate. So I thought like, okay, all this 1,000 people might be interested. So I will shoot an email to all these 1,000 people. In this, again, when I'm starting another venture, I don't have to sell this to all these 1,000 people, because this tool will tell me, Ram, out of this 1,000 people, only 700 people have clicked on your mail, have opened your mail. So out of the 700, only let's say around 400 people have clicked on your link that you have given in the mails, and they have seen your website, which means for my next product or for my next venture, this 400 people is my target, or maybe the 700 at max, right? I can define my own customer journey using my marketing. Post that, you have commerce websites. So how many of you don't know about Amazon or Flipkart? No one, right? So similar to it's basically an e-commerce website, right? Similar to that, we can also define a e-commerce product for in using Salesforce. But of course, it has not been used very widely in the market. Reason is this is specifically for B2B businesses. So this is not actually a B2C. Salesforce is still working on it, but this is especially for business to business. So what could be the difference? For example, yeah, Amazon. So when you're buying a product from an Amazon, right? If you are a Prime customer, the price for that particular product will be different, and if you are a non-Prime customer, the price for the same product will be different, right? At least a 2-3%, right? Similarly, using e-commerce, the beauty of e-commerce is when I'm defining a process, an e-commerce process for my organization, it helps me to divide my or segregate my business, I mean, my customers into multiple layers. Maybe VIP customers, maybe a loyal customers, generic customers, and all. And for each customer, it helps me to define a right discounts for right product and right services as well, right? Because some of my customers, they say that, Ram, I don't care about the price, but I want a full-fledged maintenance for the next 10 years. But some of them will say, no, no, yeah, I want a good decent price, and I may not need my service, your services, because I have my own service team who can provide the right service to my product. So just give me 1 year service, rest all I'll take care. So these are the two different customers. So how do I manage them? So if I'm having a e-commerce platform for my sales, my organization was using Salesforce, there I can define this according to the customer requirements. I can define the right codes for them, right? The price also varies, right? And for applications, okay, another good example. Maybe let's say if you're working for any organization, if you want to take a leave, So you have to apply a leave in an organization, right? Like if I want to leave, I have to go to some tool, the leave management system, maybe in Workday or so. I have to apply for a leave, and I have to wait whether it gets approved or not, was that I can take off for that particular day, right? The same process, because it's not a sales, it's not service, right? It's a custom application defined according to that organization, because some organizations will say, okay, this people my employees can take a max of 50 leaves in a year. Some of them will say that they can take only 20 leaves, and some of them says that, okay, if the employee is taking beyond 1 week leave, it needs an approval of around 7 levels, right? So it depends based on the organization, so that can be defined in Salesforce as well, because as you're buying Salesforce license, you will have a platform as well. And of course, then once you have the entire data, so you have to do the analytics. I mean, you need analytics. Again, it depends on the amount or a volume of data that you have in your organization, because Salesforce by default gives you the standard reporting structure. If you are not comfortable with it, that is where, if your data is very very complicated, then people use analytics. Then next one is integration. So one of the disadvantage of most of the upcoming technologies is integration, because application wise or tool wise it is so good, but the problem is they don't have a capability of integrating or connecting with external systems. That is where Salesforce is a champ now, because there is a tool called, or a middleware called MuleSoft. It was acquired by Salesforce in 2021 or so, but for $16 million or something. But yeah, that has been acquired by Salesforce completely, and it's one of the well-known tool in the IT industry for any integration. Employee experience, there is some product called Quip that has been stopped now. Actually, this is not been widely used by most of the customers, so they stopped it. Next one is Trailblazers. So one beauty of Salesforce is it does 3 releases in a year. Every year it will give you 3 versions. The product will be upgraded thrice, and you don't have to take care of it. So Salesforce itself will be taking care of all the upgrades. Now every notes, every feature that they are going to release will is documented and uploaded in Trailblazer website. What is the use of Trailblazer? And what is the use of these documents? And these are the features which are requested by the customers. There is a portal called idea.com in Salesforce where I can say that, okay, this is the feature that I'm using, and these are the obstacles that I'm facing while using this application. Maybe increase the number of approvals, or I might be asking them to allow me to upload some images in the record, all this. And they'll conduct a voting system. So the moment you upvote the idea, right? Once it reaches to 1,000 or so, which is very less number, less amount, like within a month or so, they will consider this as one of their features that will be upgraded maybe in the next release or so, and they'll start working on it and close it. Was that it has now been used in multiple industries. So what are the industries? It has been there in education industry, it has been there in financial industry, it has been there in hospital, in pharma, right? Or even oil and gas, right? Organization like British Petroleum, Citibank, Stanford University, of course your Paytm, if you are aware of it, right? All these people are using Salesforce itself. Then, what is a partner? So Salesforce basically have two types of communities. One is partner, and the other one is customer. So partner is like the organizations like IBM, Accenture, CTS. All these organizations will be considered as partners, right? Just give me a minute. Because they will buy the product of Salesforce, right? They'll buy these licenses, and then they'll build a an application according to their customers, because Accenture alone won't use this application, right? Or CTS alone won't use this application. So what are these organizations? They are service organizations. They'll work for some other product-based organization. And they'll build the product and give it to someone else. So this Accenture or CTS or IBM or What else? Wipro, all these people will be considered as partners, and they do have a partner community for it, where they can have an extensive learning portal as well. And success community is for the people like us, like who learn Salesforce or who are working on Salesforce, right? So where we can post our questions. It's like your s- uh, what is maybe your like your Facebook, where you can post, or LinkedIn, where you, but here we can have only technical discussions, by the way. So you can post your questions. People who have seen that, they'll answer back, and there'll be a leaderboard, all this. Yeah. This is all about your overall picture of Salesforce. Now, yep, this is very common uh, thing for any cloud platform. So basically, you are using it follows a multi-tenant architecture, where even if you have bought a space in an organization, right, in Salesforce basically, so the resources that are provided to you are common across multiple other organizations. Maybe let's say if I'm from Wipro, I'm working in this particular space, and I might have IBM next to me, or maybe Stanford next to me. So to make sure that I'm not overriding their details, we do have limitations called governor limits. For every feature that we have in Salesforce have governor limits. So the beauty is like how well you can define an application without hitting any of these limits. So that is where we're gonna discuss when we're going through the sessions for each and every feature. Yeah. And now, yes, the moment we have an idea, so only thing that you have to do is you have to buy the license and you can start building the application. This obviously reduces your overall time and effort, right? And this is one of the biggest advantage for any of the organizations. And no organization is competing with their other competitors these days, right? Because everyone is competing with time, right? Earlier, it is like, okay, Accenture used to compete with Infosys, Infosys used to compete with IBM or Wipro or whatever the organization is. But these days, customer is not saying that how less you can quote. Rather, they are saying how soon you can deliver, right? So that is where Salesforce is playing a vital role. And the best part, you don't have to install any software. You just have to have a basic laptop, which means high-end configured laptops are also not required. There's again a reduction of cost from the company, right? And these are the reasons why most of the organizations are coming. For example, when I started my career in 2010, when I say that I was from a village, so when my cousins who are already working in IT, by the way, when they ask me what are you doing, I used to say that okay, I started working on Salesforce. Even they used to think that okay, I'm a salesperson working with selling the soaps and surf packets outside, because no one knows about Salesforce. But now, if you go outside the market, right? Out of 10 companies, all 10 companies are using Salesforce. There is no organization without you using Salesforce. Whether you bring it up a bigger organizations or even smaller organizations. Yeah. So it's not required. Yeah. Um, okay. Smartphones. So everyone knows that, okay, we have something called Play Store, right, for Android. Yeah. So we have something called Play Store in Android, where I can download an application like WhatsApp and communicate with my friends. Or if I go with Apple, I can have an app store where I can download the same WhatsApp and do the communication. Right. Few years back, actually, what is this? So there will be a marketplace, right? This has been started by Apple some time back, right? And Mr. Steve Jobs. So he is the one who started this application concept. Like you will have a place where you can download the applications, install in your mobiles, and register with them, and you can start using it for any service for that matter. Right now, this was an idea being actually given by this fellow called Mark Benioff. He is the as he is the closest friend of Steve Jobs. He have gifted the domain called appstore.com to Steve Jobs. You can look at the story post this session. And this fellow came up with a new word called App Exchange in Salesforce. So which means when I go to App Exchange, similar to that, like you will have a lot of applications according to the business, because this is for the business purpose. You will have the applications all related to the business or data cleansing, all this. Based on our requirements, we can build it. Now, Ram, can I build the application? Of course, yes. So most of the organizations who rely only on working on these applications, right? And there are, so Conga was started by just two people, right? What it basically does is it helps you to convert your records into PDF format. That's it, as simple as it. But their revenue is more than 1 billion, because there is no competitor for them till date in the market, right? So if you have a very good idea, you don't have to actually look for a job. You can even build an application as well. I know a lot of organizations who are running startups, right? Around 50 to 100 people, just using the App Exchange products from past 6 years. Yeah, this is all about the course. So it's not required for you people. Come into the course content. So we'll have will this demo is for two courses. One is admin and the other one is development. Each carries 20 hours, which means overall course duration is around 40 hours, 1 hour per day, 5 days a week max. Okay. And do you have to learn anything? Yes, to an extent, right? So we'll start with admin. So for admin, if you know how to use the Excel, basic Excel sheet, that's good enough. You don't have to learn formulas and all. If you know how to create basic tables, you know what is row and column, and that is enough. Then what am I going to discuss? Here, when you go to any IT, right? Any technology for that matter, you will have three different layers. Depends on the technology. Model, view, controller. View is the UI, model is the database, controller is the business logic. We'll discuss about the data model and the UI, and rest all is all about your controls, like how the automations can happen, how validations can happen, how we can provide security, how we can load the bulk data, all this. And these are the different features that I'm gonna discuss in your admin. Once the entire sessions are done, you're free to write the admin certification, which will cost you around $200 post the exam. So that you have to register in Salesforce websites, and you have to do it. And you can, of course, immediately do this admin certification because it doesn't have any prerequisite. And this is all about point and clicks, which means if you just know how to build a basic Excel, an application, right, by just clicking on some buttons, giving some names, and defining the basic process, that is enough for Salesforce. So whatever I teach in the admin is more or less sufficient to write the admin certification, right? Post this, we'll go with development, right? For development, yes, you must be aware of complete admin knowledge, right? Why, Ram? Because uh, yes, of course, Salesforce gives you standard screens, standard UI, standard features to build everything. But there will be business requirements where the standard features may not be sufficient. That is where you have to go with customization. That's where you have to go with development. In development, again, if you divide this, you will have controllers, UI, data. Data, more or less, you will be covering everything in admin, and virtual data we'll discuss about in development, right? Post that, we'll discuss about Apex, which is your controller. So, which is originated from Java. So it says you must have a basic understanding on object-oriented programming. And for UI, we'll discuss about Lightning Aura and Lightning Web Components, which needs a basic understanding on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Ram, I'm completely new. I'm not uh, sure about it. That's fine. I'll give you the basic ideas, which is sufficient to learn the development. You just practice whatever I say. But when it comes to certification, You need some time, at least 2 3 weeks of practice post the sessions, and you can go with PD1 certification. And coming to the pattern, so I'm not going to give you the concepts and then give you an assignment at the end of the day, ask you to practice. And at the end of the sessions, like at the last session, I'm not going to discuss about any project. Rather, right from day one, we'll start discussing about a project. We'll see how that can be implemented with what features and what requirements can be covered. So we'll discuss any basic, we'll bring up any basic idea, right? Maybe on the banking sectors or on the real estate or on maybe the education and institutes, anything, any simple idea we'll bring it up, and we'll try to accommodate all the features that are available in this. And apart from these features that are available or mentioned over here, we'll discuss about sales and service process as well. I'm sure I might be writing here somewhere, sales and service. So this, because I was telling you, right? Salesforce is gonna give you the standard sales and service applications. So that also will be discussed in the sessions. Any questions? Anyone? Not sure if I'm still online. Um, so when it comes to job opportunities, I'm not sure. Did anyone asked? Mode of training is online, and you will be given the environments. Of course, and it's not that we are buying somewhere and giving it to you. This is for free. I'll tell you where you can get the environment for practice as well. And more or less, at least for the admin, 90% of the time or the of the sessions will be by sharing screens of yours. So you will be sharing your screens in the sessions and you will be building the applications. So I'll be guiding you how to do that. Yeah. Shravani, Nagendra, Srinu, any other questions? Joe as well. Anyone? Okay then. Yeah, that's all I have. Please do connect with the career IT about the time is if you're interested. And do let me know if you have any further questions. You can ask them to connect with me and for any clarifications. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.